Hey, welcome to We've Been Drinking MMA. We are predicting the fight night for October 7th of Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson. And this is the prelims. First fight, it's Montana De La Rosa versus JJAldrich. It was a 2 weeks notice replacement for another fighter named Stephanie Egger. So it's going to be Montana De La Rosa at flyweight versus JJAldrich. And my pick, this is backhand, my pick is going to be Montana De La Rosa.
And this is Curtis. My pick is going to be Montana as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you think she gets it done, bud?
By wrestling and grappling. She's fought higher level people.
Seriously.
JJ is a journey person that's still in the UFC. Granted, she should be here. She's from Colorado, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
USA person.
Nice.
That's fought lower level and's been losing to that lower level as well.
Yeah.
So I think Montana's facing higher level people, even though she doesn't have the greatest record ever. I think she's going to out-grapple, out-wrestle her, and I think she's going to get the win.
Absolutely. JJAldrich stepping in on a week or 2 weeks' notice, and she is 18-12. And then Montana De La Rosa is 12 wins, 8 losses. Sorry, JJAldrich was 12-6. So technically, Aldrich has the better record on paper. But like Curtis said, on the caliber of people they fought, right? The losses that Montana De La Rosa had, even though she's had 8 losses, it's like in the last 2 fights, Tatiana Suarez, who's gonna fight for the title very soon and probably take the title. Let's be honest here. Macy Barber, she lost to her. Macy Barber is a top 10 fighter, and then she knocked out Ariane Lipski, who Ariane Lipski, had a decision win 2 fights ago over the opponent JJAldrich here. So, that type of thing where Montana De La Rosa can beat the people that beat JJAldrich. And it's because of what Curtis said, is that Montana De La Rosa has phenomenal wrestling, grappling. She did lose to Tatiana Suarez because of the grappling, but because Tatiana's a specialist. But, if you look at it, JJAldrich, she did win her last fight against Liang Na with a TKO, but that was because Liang Na tried to go for some takedown but had 0 top control, and then JJAldrich just reversed it and then just ground and pounded her. It was very easy. You can tell Liang Na is just not on a good level for the UFC caliber, and so it was a very easy win for JJ. But before that, she had a decision loss to Ariane Lipski, and then she got submitted in the second round by Erin Blanchfield. So,
future champ.
Yeah. And so, the caliber of opponents is what we're talking about. I think Montana De La Rosa has phenomenal ground and pound. For flyweight, she does damage on the ground. She's got elbows, punches. She's got, aggressiveness. She's got actually a very slick, just classic wrestling double leg takedown. Great duck under your punch, take both your legs from under you, and slide into it, right into you, and then take your legs from under you. It's really, really good. I would say that it reminds me of Chris Weidman when Weidman was doing really good against in the middleweight division in the UFC, and he was champion. De La Rosa has really, really good wrestling takedowns. So JJAldrich, as we said, got taken down in her last fight by Liang Nu, and if it wasn't for Liang Nu not having any top control, JJAldrich would have been in some major danger there. So
when it comes to boxing with Montana, I think what I like about her boxing is she strikes first. She's not waiting. She's just going with her box striking, and then she's setting up her wrestling. Right. So that's why she's her pressure with her striking.
JJ likes to actually, she kind of is not very active, I would say.
with her striking anyway.
Yes, with the striking.
Yes.
So if you're going to give, let's say, JJ the advantage in striking, I don't know if you can, because she's not active enough with her strikes. And in general, she doesn't punch with that much power.
Yep. Yeah. JJ's grappling is probably on par with Montana's, but I think Montana's grappling and wrestling.
Good top control. She can mount
with
you.
her pressure and I think she's just going to control this fight. I think it's a no-brainer here for who's going to win this fight.
We don't have the odds yet because the UFC has not officially announced this fight, even though it's going to happen. And so we don't have the odds yet. But we're assuming, obviously, Montana De La Rosa will be a small favorite. Either way, we're thinking Montana De La Rosa, she's going to get, like Lousy said, the punches to the takedowns, and it's the top control, the elbows, the ground and pound is going to be too much for JJAldrich. So we don't know how it's going to get it done, but I'm picking Montana De La Rosa just in general. I'm money line, better straight up.
Money line, straight
That's
up.
what I'm doing. All right.
Like, subscribe, comment.
We've been drinking MMA. This is the second fight on the prelims for Fight Night Bobby Green versus, what's his name?
Grant Dawson.
Grant Dawson. All right. So this is backhand. My pick is going to be Matthias Mendonca.
I'm going Mendonca as well. And once I know the props for this fight, I'm probably going to go Mendonca by KO as well.
Yeah, so I forgot to say, sorry, the matchup is Matthias Mendonca versus Nate Maness at 125 pounds. We're both going with Mendonca, Matthias Mendonca. He's 24 years old, and Maness is 32. The thing is
go ahead.
No, I was going to say just the records. Matthias Mendonca only has one loss. He's 10-1, and Nate Maness is 14-3.
Nothing about Maness's fight IQ or fight style is technical.
Right.
In my opinion. He's just a lower level type fighter.
Yeah.
He's still in the UFC, so anything might happen, but nothing about his fight style is high IQ or
bad decision maker.
Like he's not setting up anything. He's just going in there to fight. So yeah. I'm going with Mendonca because he has crisper strikes and he throws with some intention.
Yeah.
To hurt.
And he doesn't just walk into punches. Nate Maness is literally walking into punches.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Looping, striking.
Right.
Mendonca is going to see those punches coming.
Maness almost looks... I mean, I don't like to talk trash, and maybe this is some kind of trash talking, but
yeah,
Nate...
you do.
Yeah, I do. I mean, we all like it. We've been drinking MMA.
Yeah.
We have to talk a little bit, right? But Nate Maness literally looks like he's doing a different sport sometimes.
he doesn't know he's fighting.
Yeah, he's doing synchronized dancing or some shit, and he's just walking around, moving to the left for no reason, and then he gets clocked. I mean, honestly,
I don't know what he's doing in there.
Have you ever seen a fighter like him? Quite like him?
Not like that.
And that's in the most negative sense ever. Is what we're meaning it by. I'm sorry if there's any Nate Maness fans, but in
our opinion, I don't think there's there's always a way that people can lose, but Mendonca is probably a lock.
It's that type of even though he's Mendonca is minus $250 to make 100, but the way we're talking about him, the way we believe he's gonna wipe the floor with Maness is basically that it feels like it's more 6-1, 5-1 type stuff, 500 to make 100. So
getting your money in early.
Yes, this is one of those fights that will go up and up and up. It'll be so expensive by Friday.
Yeah,
probably.
So that's our pick, Mendonca, and I'm gonna look at the Mendonca by KO when it comes on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not exactly sure, but one of those days, look at the money, and if it's a better money than what you're thinking, go for it.
Yeah, but we're high on Mendonca for this style matchup for sure. Matthias Mendonca is our pick.
Like, subscribe, comment. Thank you. We've been drinking MMA. We are talking about the Vanessa Demopolis versus Kanato Morado fight. My pick is Kanato Morado.
Yep, and this is backhand, and my pick is also Morado.
The reason I'm picking Morado, she is stupid strong for this weight division.
Yeah.
Whatever she ragdolls people as far as wrestling.
Former Invicta champion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's saying something. That was basically the women's UFC before UFC.
Before the UFC started, the Invicta was the way to go.
That was the tier. That was UFC for women. Yeah.
She's just a better fighter than Demopolis as far as just fighting. I think in general. Maybe I'm wrong about this. What do you think about that backhand?
She's so fast, isn't she? She's
in out.
I just in general. I mean, this fight is taking place at strawweight, 115, and it's one of those fights where Vanessa Demopolis is she will exchange. However, she's not that fast. That's a problem for her in this matchup. So yeah, I mean, it's fast versus slow, and then you got Morado, who is just, her leg kicks are really fast, I would say.
Yep.
And Demopolis, she loads up a little bit on the leg kicks. It's just kind of easy to see coming. So if it's a leg kick battle, Morado wins, right? If it's a punching battle, Morado can punch and then get out of the way. And then on top of that, Demopolis doesn't have much power. That's why, she really has a lot of decisions.
She leaves herself open with the.
She gets hit a lot, doesn't she?
As far as she goes all out with her striking.
Demopolis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She leaves herself open.
She's not punching and then hitting and moving at all.
Yeah.
She likes to kind of stay in that pocket.
Stays in the pocket.
Overall, she has a good distance, but then when she gets into exchange, she doesn't just throw a smart punch and move. She kind of stays in there for a combo. Yeah. And that can be detrimental against an experienced champion like Morado.
That's correct.
But the one thing is that you were saying is that in Murata's last fight, she lost by TKO doctor stoppage because her arm was broken. Her elbow.
Her elbow dislocation versus Verna. Her last fight.
Yeah, Jandiroba, yeah.
Yeah, Jandiroba.
Who's number 13 in the world, by the way. Other than that, yeah.
Yeah, the doctor stopped that fight in general, and I'm kind of leery on not putting any money on this fight because I don't know if she's rushing into another fight or if that arm is actually to 100% or anything like that.
Right, Murata's minus 370, which is a hefty favorite.
That's a big price.
$370 to make 100.
I think she's a better fighter like that, but
right.
I don't want to put any money on this.
It's this is the one fight where you would want to maybe see around and see is Murata's what was it, her left arm or
I think it was
the left arm was just hanging on for a whole round, hanging down there
by the waist.
It was completely broken, just dead arm.
Yeah,
just floating around, and she was
arm across her waist.
Wow.
That's how she was fighting. You ever seen that movie Warrior?
Yes, with Tom Hardy.
That's what he was doing in that fight.
Yeah, I remember that scene. That was cool.
That very last scene where his arm was across his hip like that. That's what Kanako was.
And then his brother broke his arm, right? Or something? Or he didn't tap or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Just before the end of the second round or something that movie. Yeah.
That's right. So and Morado, just like Lousy just said, Curtis just said, Morado is what did you say? She's like a warrior, right?
Oh, she's from. That's what the movie was.
She's got the code, man. She's from Japan, man. They're like samurai.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you don't know if she's actually Russian and it's not 100%.
You don't know. You don't know because that fight, it did happen 2 years ago. However, you don't know if she is kind of looking at it like, okay, that was whatever. I can still win with leg kicks. Sometimes the champion thinks that she can win with being 70%.
Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. Even though the arms may never heal correctly.
Right. That's true. So we're going with Morado, but we do know that she was coming off a elbow break. And her arm was hanging down, in for a whole round before they stopped it against Jandiroba, who's ranked number 13. So, Morado had a good performance overall against the number 13 Jandiroba, and she beat Randa Marcos, who is a person who had a win over Angela Hill, who just had a main event in the last couple months. So, Randa Marcos is a quality win. And we know that, Demopolis, she is... her record is, she's 9-5. In the UFC though, it's 2-3. But her wins are against people who aren't as quality opponents. Got women who have only had one win and things like that. So, overall, Murata's the pick. We're just a little bit leery, and we want to see maybe how she's performing in that first round to make sure that elbow's okay and that it doesn't, re-break or anything.
I would live bet it if you are going to put money on this, but I would suggest not putting any money on it.
Right.
Like, subscribe, comment. We want more people to hear this, so please do.
For the YouTube algorithm, appreciate you. We've been drinking MMA. This is the fourth fight on the prelims of the UFC Fight Night. Bobby Green, Grant Dawson. This is Aori Qilang from China as that bantamweight, 135 pounds, versus Johnny Munoz. And this is back end. My pick is Aori Qilang.
This is lousy. My pick is Johnny Munoz. But I'm going with backhands prop bet. I think it's going to go the distance as well.
I'm thinking, man, Munoz backs away so fast. He's so great at evading the one big weapon that Aori Qilang has, which is the leg kick.
Yes.
So it's like Aori Keeling has these super fast leg kicks, but Munoz backs away from the leg kicks super well. Like that's like his one of his talents.
His striking defense.
His specifically striking defense, specifically the leg kick defense is like amazing. Very fast at getting away from it. So I feel like distance is actually the bet that I'm gonna do, that I'm really focused on, because it's a 50-50 fight. Minus 110 for each fighter, 110 to make 100. It's literally dead even on the bookmaker's eyes for good reason. Like I just said, one of them's a leg kicker and the other guy's phenomenal at getting away from leg kicks. On top of that, Munoz got the grappling. Aori Keeling showed that he can get up, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be so easy to get away. Munoz can hold him against the fence. There's a lot of things that can happen.
His pace with Munoz.
Munoz is a good mover.
Yeah.
He's just a good mover. He punches on the run. There's a lot of things that can pose problems. When you have a guy punching on the run, it's not the same thing when somebody's standing in the pocket with you. And Aori Keeling, he is a good athlete, but he's not nearly as fast as a mover.
That means he's taking angles after he strikes you. He's taking angles like he goes off to the side.
Yeah, he's a talented puncher, Aori Keeling as well, but Munoz is just fast.
Yeah.
He's just fast. So how are you going to time a fast guy?
Yeah.
It's going to be a hard matchup for, honestly, Munoz in the matchup style. Look, he evades the leg kicks. He can put the fight where he wants it. We take you to the fence, take you to the ground, punch on the run. He's more dynamic, faster. So Munoz has a style matchup to beat Aori Keeling, no doubt. But then Aori Keeling is just a talented guy who can get up off the ground and has good strikes overall, super fast leg kicks. But like we said, Munoz can evade him. So that's why I'm thinking distance is what I want to probably bet.
Yeah, distance is probably more than the actual person here.
All 3 rounds.
Keeling he can get. If he does get taken down, he can get up.
Yeah.
Munoz does not have the best striking in the world, so Munoz is not going to knock him out, and he's not going to keep him down. So.
Yeah, and it's like, for me, I think they're both good athletes. Straight up, like, they just belong in the UFC. They're good athletes. You know, the way they move, their balance, it's just good quality athletes. The thing is that I feel like Aori Keeling doesn't get controlled that easily on the ground. Like he knows how to kind of, get that balance, center his balance, and then get up. And he's very calm under pressure, which is what I really like about Aori Keeling. No panic, and he gets up well. He gets up, whether it's against the fence, he doesn't get stuck anywhere. And I feel like Munoz, like we said, has got good distance overall, backs away quickly, really good athlete. And, I just think that leg kick for leg kick, it's going to be hard to leg kick Aori Keeling faster than Aori Keeling, because Aori Keeling has super fast leg kicks.
That's what he's known for.
That's what he's known for, man. So, and I also feel like even though there is maybe a question mark, can Johnny Munoz hold him down? But I don't think Munoz's top control is that great. I
don't think his game is actually set up for him just to hold people down.
He's trying to sub.
He's trying to sub.
He's trying to be active with subs. He's not trying to just lay and pray. So because of that, he's constantly trying to move all the time. And Aori Keeling is very calm, so it's going to be very interesting. I guess you could say the grappling exchanges is what we're kind of interested in here.
Yeah.
Because the kicks,
wrestling, grappling here.
Like we said, they're going to be kind of like stalemated with the striking.
On the striking, yeah.
It's going to be just kind of like backing away from the kicks, and we'll see what happens. But the grappling will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Be very interesting for a live bet opportunity too. Depending on how Munoz matches up, does he have all those style matchup advantages?
Is he setting the pace?
Yeah. If he's doing that and Aori Keeling is having problems timing him with the counter punches, maybe Munoz can make it dirty and really go for subs against the fence. Hold him against the fence. I'm sorry, do things like this.
Like Keeling is not having the leg reach, like keeping him at bay.
Yeah,
Munoz doesn't close that gap, it's gonna be a problem.
Munoz has a 2-inch reach advantage too. So, it's going to be an interesting fight as far as the style matchup. We'll see how it gets neutralized, and it's going to be very interesting from a chess match point of view.
Yeah, so going the distance.
Going the distance is what I'm thinking. But, Curtis had Munoz, and I had Aori Keeling, but ultimately we both do agree that distance is definitely happening.
I'm not betting the person. I'm betting what the fight's actually going to do, so I'm going the distance.
Absolutely. Hey, please like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. This is We've Been Drinking MMA. This is the prelim main event. Karolina Kowalkiewicz at straw weight, 115 pounds, versus Diana Belbita. And, of course, this is the UFC Fight Night. Bobby Green, Grant Dawson. Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Diana Belbita. My pick, this is back end, is Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
This is lousy. My pick is Carolina as well. Carolina has a very extensive fight list as far as her experience goes. She has a pace to her, very calm, very collected. Keep coming forward. I'm gonna take you down, and if you do, I'm gonna try to get your neck. That's her fighting style, and she's fighting a hands up, chin down kickboxer who doesn't really have a list as far as fighting goes.
Right.
I think this is a landslide victory for Carolina.
And the price is, I think, phenomenal, in our opinion. Karolina Kowalkiewicz is minus 155, $155 to make 100. And she's fought for the title, went all 5 rounds in that title fight versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who is the best 115-pound fighter ever. Yeah. She's got like 6 title defenses.
She's in the Hall of Fame.
She's in the Hall of Fame for sure. And Kowalkiewicz went all 5 rounds with her. Kowalkiewicz, really her losses, she went through a losing streak, but it was all ranked fighters and like people like Jessica Andrade, former champions who have, former champions. So other than that, she's on a 3-fight win streak, right? And then
it would be one thing if she was fighting a top 3 fighter for Carolina, but she's not.
No,
Diana Belbita is not a top 3 fighter. So I think Carolina's going to have no problem fighting this woman.
I think they have this wrong because both these fighters are 15-7, their records. However, Karolina Kowalkiewicz has been in the UFC for like 7 years and has fought like almost like 15, 16 fights in the UFC.
The who's who.
The who's who and the who's who. And she's only lost to champions and former champions and ranked fighters, right? And another loss would be Jessica Penne, who was made the semifinals of the Ultimate Fighter and lost to the eventual champion of the division, Carla Esparza, so who eventually lost to Jędrzejczyk and who beat Karolina Kowalkiewicz by decision. So, Kowalkiewicz is a top fighter, and on a 3-fight win streak. Now, Diana Belbita, I believe this is a mismatch, in my opinion, because and Karolina Kowalkiewicz is a huge steal because Diana Belbita has been in the UFC. She's 2-3 in the UFC, and this is the problem with her. Is she has 3 losses and 2 wins. Her 2 wins, right? She beat Hannah Goldie, who is 1-4 in the UFC, 1-3, and then Mara Oliveira, that's her second win, and she's 1-3. So both these fighters have horrible records in the UFC, and those are her 2 wins. Now her 3 losses in the UFC. Are against Liana Jojuja, which was she lost in 2 minutes in the first round by submission, and Liana Jojuja, her only win is Diana Belbita. She's 1-3 in the UFC. So even her loss, is against losing fighters, right? Then she lost to Gloria DePaula, who went 2-3 in the UFC and got released by the UFC, and she lost her latest fight, so she's actually 2-4 in her last 6. And then she lost, to a good fighter, Molly McCann. But it just goes to show you the people that she's lost to are not good. They have losing records. And the people that she's beaten only have 1 win and 3 losses and 1 win and 4 losses. So it's just tears right here. Overall, Karolina Kowalkiewicz has the better distance control. She's got the better shot selection. She is better athlete as far as her balance and footwork, I would say.
Yeah, this is like a talent level tier, easy decision.
And I know you mentioned we were talking about this. Belbita kind of chin down and just goes forward and just throws punches kind of sloppily.
But it's predictable. It's slow and predictable, her hands, but her kicks is why she's in there.
She doesn't throw with enough power, and she's also being sloppy, and she doesn't punch and back away. She just punches and just goes forward. So it's kind of like she's asking to get hit. And
especially with Carolina going forward.
Yeah.
And she's with her Belbita's predictability with her hands, you can see them coming. So she's going to know what to do.
And like you said, Diana Belbita doesn't get out of the way after she punches, so she's really easy to get taken down. In fact, even in her last win versus Mara Oliveira, she basically just got hit a lot, and she got taken down in all the rounds. Even though she got back up, she got taken down in all the rounds. What do you think someone like Karolina Kowalkiewicz is going to do? Easily can punch, get away, leg kick, take you down, do whatever she wants, basically, to Diana Belbita. I understand the odds makers are keeping this close because they're both 15-7, but it's a complete different quality of fighters that Kowalkiewicz has lost to versus Belbita. So, the pick is easily Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I love this price of minus 155. And again, this is backhand. My pick is Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
I'm picking Carolina. I'm going to put her in all my parlays. Easy decision for me. So, like, subscribe, comment.
Appreciate you guys for the algorithm, YouTube algorithm. Thank you. Hey, welcome to We've Been Drinking MMA. This is the first fight on the main card of UFC Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson. This is Alex Hernandez at featherweight, 145 pounds, versus Bill Algeo. And my pick, this is back in my pick, is going to be Alex Hernandez.
Hello, this is Lousy. And my pick is going to be inside distance. But if I were to pick a fighter, my pick is going to be Bill Algeo. Bill Algeo can wrestle. He doesn't have a lot of striking defense, but when he does strike, it's with intention. He's throwing heat. So, Alex Hernandez, he's gotten better with striking defense, but it's not great. So, they stop a lot of punches with their face, both of these guys.
Yep. Hence the KO prediction.
The KO inside distance prediction for sure. Bill Algeo has the reason he gets punched a lot is because he has that karate style with his hands by his waist. He kicks a lot. Hernandez used to have his hands open. That's why he's trying to counter.
He got bloodied up.
A lot of
Many fights.
A lot of fights. He's thrown with intention as well. That's why he has a gas tank. That's only one round. This is a one-round type of fight. So I think first round knockout by one of these people.
It's going to be exciting first round.
Yeah.
Fast starters, right? Both of them are fast starters. It's going to be very interesting. This is Bill Algeo is the favorite, minus 140, 140 to make 100. And it's a close fight on the odds. 1 inch reach advantage for Algeo. He's 6 feet tall, which is super tall for a featherweight. Hernandez is only 5'9". Even though Alex Hernandez is a light, he is more of a 155er. He hasn't had the same success. He fought Jim Miller at 155, but this is a featherweight fight, isn't it? So Hernandez is essentially going back down in weight, which, that's the problem. Another problem with Gas Tank. This is at featherweight at 145, so
he has to cut that weight.
He has to cut that weight, and he fought Billy Q, at 145, and the Gas Tank issue happened. Maybe a KO is that I realize that it's a featherweight fight. I don't like Hernandez at featherweight at all because of the whole Gas Tank issue. I don't know why he's fighting at featherweight. I'm sure they were just saying, hey, listen, you're fighting high. You versus Bill would be a great fight. Why don't you go down to featherweight again? And, I'm changing my opinion. I'll be honest. Because this is 10 whole pounds here.
With the UFC, if you do take fights that aren't your weight class, you do get more money, so...
You do get more money, but the problem is that when you do something like this, you've had a bad, gas tank issues at featherweight, and now you're going back to featherweight. Man, all the things that I was thinking about was like if he fought at 155, which is his natural weight, and he's a strong guy, he's built. So to cut weight, it's really hard to do, and you start to really, you don't have much fat on his body. He's a very strong guy, so then, you just have to drain yourself the week of the fight. Who the hell knows who's going to show up? So this is one of those fights where I'll still...
One round.
Man, I even said in my head, man, I was looking at this fight and I was like, oh yeah, Hernandez at lightweight, he's looking better, but this is a featherweight fight, man. I'm thinking about actually staying away from this fight now. And
in general.
In general.
For picking a fight, or do you think it's
fighter.
Inside the distance?
Inside the distance is a very, very nice proposal. I would love to see the odds on that on Wednesday when it comes out, Tuesday or Wednesday when it comes out on DraftKings.
As long as it's reasonable.
If it's plus money on a KO, oh hell yes, I'm thinking about that. You know what I mean? I'm thinking
plus
about
anything.
that seriously. Plus anything.
Plus anything.
Yeah, bet 100 to give me 101, and I'll be thinking about a KO. Especially with Hernandez with gas tank issues. Especially that, and Algeo punches hard
with his hands down.
Oh God, yeah. And Algeo is a guy that just keeps going. He has an arsenal of kicks, and he's all types of kicks from all these different angles. He plays cat and mouse games with people. He draws them in, and then he can counterpunch KO you with short punches with power. That's why it was a dangerous fight to begin with, and why he's the favorite. Now I realize for sure. Why he's a favorite is because it's his weight class, man. And there's a reason why people stay at their weight classes. Not only for you don't want to move up in weight against a guy who's bigger than you.
You know where you're getting.
Your body is at that weight for a reason. When you cut and you've had bad performances in the past, like 2 fights ago against Billy Q, where he gassed and he got bloodied up and knocked out. that's the thing that thinks in my head. Okay, in featherweight, he's had 2 losses in a row at featherweight, right? So that's what I'm thinking about. I don't think about how he's improving anymore. I'm just like, dude, gas tank issues. Why is he taking this fight? This could be a money grab, and this could be a fight that ends quickly for either guy. Maybe Hernandez just says, you know what, I'm losing gas. Let's go, and Algeo will be his dance partner. Algeo will throw, and he will throw kicks and everything.
In the phone booth.
In the phone booth, Algeo will play games, but in the end, he's down to
clown, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, he is down to see who is the better man that night and just go for the kill. Kill or be killed. It's crazy. I really feel now at featherweight this is a kill or be killed fight. So, looking for the KO money. Let's go for that one now.
Inside Distance is our pick. Like, subscribe, comment. Thank you.
This is We've Been Drinking MMA. This is the second fight on the main card now for the UFC Fight Night. Bobby Green, Grant Dawson. This is light heavyweights. But these are power punchers here. Philip Linz versus Ion Kudalaba. This is backhand. My pick is Philip Linz.
My pick is Philip Linz as well, but more specifically, I think he's going to end up in a knockout in this one.
Looking forward to that.
Yes. Philip Linz used to be a heavyweight.
Yep.
He is now a 205er. He came down last fight or the fight before, 1 and 2.
I think, yeah. He beat he's on a 3-fight win streak, I think, at light heavyweight. Prachnio knocked out Ovis St. Preux. Yeah. And then he beat Maxim Grisham. Decision.
Yeah. All 3 great fights.
Put on good performances.
Like I said, in light heavyweight, he still has that power.
He has the power. He hasn't lost it.
And he's lighter on his feet now.
Yes.
So he's moving around with his feet work and still having that power. He's not looping with his strike is.
Mm-hmm.
His strike is, by the way. That's a word. So he's coming with his power.
Coming with the power.
And he's more set up with his technical. He's not straight punches.
Yeah.
Like he's coming with his lead hook,
and
then with his other hand, he's coming with his power.
I like his counterpunching ability. For a light heavyweight, he punches pretty fast going backwards too. He had defensively counterpunching as well.
He had problems with that at heavyweight.
With what?
With his countering because he was a bigger guy.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Tanner Bozer knocked him out.
Mm-hmm.
They're both at 205 now, and he's just not having a problem with throwing punches anymore because he's lighter on his feet.
I feel like both of these fighters, Ion Kudalaba, Philip Linz, they're both like not the fastest fighters. Like overall, they're kind of slow, as far as their movement going forward. So the thing is that, like Lousy said, exchanges are gonna happen. They're gonna have to happen when both fighters are. I think Philip Linz is faster than backing up. After he goes in and out, he's faster at backing out than Kudalaba, no doubt. I think the countering's better from Philip Linz. I think the strike arsenal is better. He throws even uppercuts in those in those combos. I think they're both standing. I think overall they're both standing a little bit close and can get leg kicked. But again, Philip Linz backs up quicker, so Kudalaba is going to take more leg kicks. I think Philip Linz has a faster leg kick. Maybe Ion Kudalaba throws with more power on the leg kicks, but Linz is faster with the leg kicks and he backs away quicker. So that's going to really help him. I think even though Kudalaba has the dynamic punch combinations, like Lazu and I were talking about earlier, like it's kind of sloppy with the combos. It's not very crisp. Looping. Yeah, it's like not as purposeful as Linz is calculated, right? With the accuracy.
It's like he's setting up his striking to get to his wrestling.
And I have to agree. Like, he wants to hit you, and then when he has you just a little bit dazed, a little bit, off balance, then he goes for the wrestling. He doesn't just go for the wrestling straight off the. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing, is that he kind of does, like Lazzy said, sets up the takedowns with some punches that can land. But his top control is not the best. People get up off the ground all the time against him. And, he does have a pretty good record. His losses are usually to the ranked fighters and good fighters and fighters who are usually fast. Philip Linz isn't the fastest fighter, but he does have pretty fast hands, and he's fast at backing out of the way. And it's gonna be basically Philip Linz with the striking advantage, and Kudalaba who's gonna try and mix in the takedowns. But I just feel like the takedowns, the top control is not quite there. I do feel like Linz has the better arsenal with the striking. So for me, I like Philip Linz, but for me, I want to kind of see half a round and just see how Philip Linz, how quick he is in backing away. I know Philip Linz can do some good cage holding and, do some decent grappling against the cage, and hopefully he can kind of get Kudalaba off of him when Kudalaba rushes him. And I want to just see that. And then when that happens, I'll be ready to put that bet on Philip Linz.
This is live betting.
Live bet, yeah, he's
Okay.
plus money, and Ion Kudalaba is minus 140. He's the favorite, so Philip Linz $100 to make 125. Even if Linz hurts him a little bit and Linz becomes minus 150, we know he can handle the wrestling. It's still a good price because we're thinking Philip Linz is just more talented, better at backing up with strikes. Kudalaba really goes forward, like Lousy said, kind of sloppy with the combinations. I feel like we're both thinking that Kudalaba might be panic shot, going for panic wrestling.
Yeah,
he gets hit
he's
with
gonna
clean
feel
punches.
the power and then.
Yeah.
Philip Linz's third fight this year specifically.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's only October.
Wow.
I think he's maybe looking for another contract. Like he's like maybe his last fight on this contract. He's like, let's get this out and let's get another contract.
He's confident.
So he's gonna come out hungry, I think.
Yeah. He wants to get a new good contract.
Yeah.
He wants a KO win.
He wants that win.
He KO'd Ovince St. Preux. That's no joke,
Convincingly.
man. Convincingly, like great combination punching with the uppercuts, and it landed.
He knocked him down, he got back up, and he knocked him down again. That type of knock.
Man, Kudalaba's not the fastest guy. I would say he's slower than Ovince.
Yeah.
So this is a situation where Kudalaba's not fast at backing up. He's slower than Ovince. He's sloppy with his punches. Lynn's a great counterpuncher at light heavyweight. Crisp punches. Kudalaba could get knocked out. Like you said, it's you like KO. This fight ending in a KO.
Method of victory KO.
And I love it too because they're both not the fastest movers, so they're gonna have to exchange. They both hit with power. It's gonna be a super fun light heavyweight fight, but it feels like a heavyweight fight, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Like a heavy bang.
Yeah.
Stand and bang type fight.
Car crashes, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hope you guys like it. Like, subscribe, comment.
This is We've Been Drinking MMA. This is the third fight. Or is it the fourth fight? Third fight on the main card for the UFC Fight Night. Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson. This is Drew Dober at lightweight, 155 pounds, versus Ricky Glenn. And this is backhand. My pick is Drew Dober.
My prediction is Drew Dober, too. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a very easy fight for Drew Dober.
Yeah.
It's his style of fight.
Yeah.
He's not going to get out-wrestled. He's not going to get outstruck.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Ricky Glenn is a volume-type striker, he's not going to, outpower Drew Dober.
Right.
Drew Dober, chin has been a suspect with Matt Frivola specifically.
Right.
He got rocked.
I think he learned he did. He learned a valuable lesson. First of all, Frivola was throwing with massive power on all of his punches that night. And Drew Dober was in and out with his fast punches, and he happened to throw one big punch to the body, and he thought it was going to push Frivola back, and Frivola just answered with a huge overhand, and it just knocked Dober down and just finished him quickly. But I just feel like Drew Dober, that's what happens when you're going against a power puncher. You can't just throw the body and stick there. You gotta stick and move always against a power puncher.
1-2 out.
Always go out. Get the hell out of there. Because it's just a bomb that's waiting to explode on you. So
you can't stand in the phone booth.
I feel like I agree with you, man. I mean, obviously, Drew Dober's a huge favorite. Minus $480 to make 100, and it's probably going to keep going up throughout the week. So minus, it's a hefty price. But Drew Dober's a ranked fighter, and that's why it is a hefty price. Even though it's crazy because who's main eventing is Grant Dawson. This fight card, Grant Dawson is fighting Bobby Green. Grant Dawson is a minus 400 favorite, and Ricky Glenn, who is Dober's opponent in this fight, Glenn had a draw versus Grant Dawson a few fights ago. It's kind of crazy that Dober's this much of a favorite over that, but
because Ricky Glenn made Grant Dawson strike.
Exactly.
And that's not Grant Dawson.
And that's the thing. It's all about styles makes fights. And Glenn has, had good takedown defense, good enough. And in the third round, he just started stuffing the takedowns, meaning he was just defending the takedowns perfectly. He just saw Grant Dawson going for his legs and just, put the hand on the guy on Grant Dawson's head or on his shoulders and just moved out of the way. Simple as that. He read the wrestling. And he was good at that. But as far as striking, that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about wrestling. This is striking against Drew Dober. And, Ricky Glenn just walks into punches. You saw him walk into punches versus Christos Giagos and get knocked out in the first round. He doesn't have any distance control. And because of that, Drew Dober is one of these guys who's a ranked fighter, and it's not because of his wrestling. It's all because of his striking. And he's got, quick, powerful punches, combination punches, fast leg kicks. And it's just going to be bad for a guy who's just walking into punches, So that's why Drew Dober is a massive favorite. And I think Drew Dober will learn from that lesson against a power puncher. Ricky Glenn is not a power puncher. There's no threat from Ricky Glenn in this fight, in my opinion.
He is a volume striker, and Drew Dober is more of a power guy. So.
He is power, but at the same time, Drew Dober, he can break people down. And, just Glenn just walking into punches means that I feel like even Dober by KO, I want to see that price when it comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I want to see that.
That's the only way is by propping this, unless you want to put Drew Dober on a parlay.
I want to throw him on a parlay for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
No doubt he'll be part of a parlay. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. This is kind of self-explanatory. Glenn is not a striker, and Dober is just going to take him out, in my opinion. So,
yeah, like, subscribe, comment. This is We've Been Drinking MMA. We are on the 4th fight in the main card, Alex Murano versus Joaquin Buckley. I'm going Joaquin Buckley.
Yep, and this is backhand. My pick is going to be Alex Murano. And, Buckley's the favorite in this fight. Joaquin Buckley is minus 175, 175 to make 100. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage over Murano. And could be a very interesting fight. They both throw with some heat. Buckley with a lot more power, and Buckley with the amazing head kick knockouts that we all crave. So everyone, whenever they watch Joaquin Buckley, we're always waiting to see if he's going to throw those special spinning kicks to the face.
The flare.
Yes, and you never know when he is ready for it. Man, he can really just change a fight with one strike. Murano's not that type of a guy who can change a fight with one strike.
No,
he's just not.
Volume
puncher.
And he's a BJJ guy, so
yeah,
yes,
I feel
that's what I think he's known for anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they both were doing good. Like Joaquin Buckley is 4-2 in his last 6, and the only 2 losses are against a guy who main evented versus Sean Strickland, the current champion, about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and then Chris Curtis, who's a perennial top 10. And then his wins are against, Albert Duraev, who we got respect for, Hassan, who is the co-main event in this card. We got Arroyo, and then Andre Fiallo, who he knocked out currently in his last fight. Solid record.
Buckley's pressure and his power, that's why I think he's going to win this fight. Absolutely.
And then you got Murano. Murano is on a 5-1 in his last 6. The reason I think Murano is, a little bit underrated in this fight is because he just got knocked out 2 fights ago by Santiago Ponzinibbio, which I just want to say he took that fight on 6 days' notice. He did good because 2 judges in that fight against Santiago Ponzinibbio, 2 judges gave the first 2 rounds to Alex Murano. And in the third round, Murano just, Ponzinibbio, they were trading, and Ponzinibbio just hit him with something that stuck. And Murano just froze standing. He got hit, and he got stuck. It stuck him, and it just fell down after that. I think 6 days notice is really tough to get the conditioning up to handle, a 3-round fight. But if Murano just stayed away, theoretically, if Murano just ran away for that round, he would have won the fight because 2 judges had him up 2 rounds. So in a 6, I'm just saying, Ponzinibbio, I have respect for him. We all know he's a good fighter, solid fighter, who's been in the top 15 for a long time. He's got a win over Matthew Semmelsberger, Mickey Gall. We all know these guys. KO over Donald Cerrone. When Cerrone was not thinking about retiring. Tim Means, who just had a resurgence with a nice knockout win over Andre Fiallo. Tim Means got submitted in the second round by Alex Murano. Admittedly, Tim Means does get subbed a lot. He's got like 6 submission losses. But anyways, it's a really good fight, I think. For me, Alex Murano, like Lousy said, throws with volume, and Joaquin throws with power. Also, Buckley has really gotten more patient, like Lousy said, and he's really trying to time people a lot better.
Instead of just going head hunting, he's much more patient.
And which is honestly fair. Once you head kick knock out somebody like Kasangane in your second fight in the UFC, you want to be that fan favorite who just goes for these crazy knockouts. And I think he started to develop who he was when he started realizing that you can't just do that against everybody. And now he's turned into more of a patient knockout guy, which is very smart growth by him. Alex Murano is 12-5 in the UFC. And Joaquin Buckley is 6-4 in the UFC. So Murano has a slightly better record in the UFC. Joaquin Buckley has been KO'd 3 times. And Murano has been KO'd twice. But one of those was against Ponzinibbio. But no excuses, he got KO'd. And then the rest of them are losses by decision. I feel like Murano is one of those guys. Looks like a tricky vet. He's been in the UFC for a long time now. He's got like 15 fights or so, 17
He's a bag
fights.
of tricks for sure.
Man, he's got a bag of tricks, man. He's going in and out all the time, hopping in and out, just like he's on coffee, like a lot of caffeine, just in and out, in and out. He's very sneaky by manipulating that distance. You don't know when he's going to strike you. You don't know when he's going to throw a kick. He throws mostly punches, but you don't know whether it's going to be a 1-2, 2 punches or 3 punches. You don't know whether the first punch is going to get you or if he's setting it up for the third punch to hit you hard. He's really sneaky, and I think people are underestimating Murano's sneakiness, for lack of a better word. I think his punches are fast. His counter punches are fast, so he can hit you going backwards, going forward. I think one problem with him, though, is he does check leg kicks, and he gets out of the way of body kicks pretty good, but he does not block head kicks. And Joaquin Buckley's specialty is head kicks. So I could see this, Buckley ending it with a head kick. I honestly could right here. This is a dangerous, dangerous fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet Alex Murano. He is an underdog. I'm getting plus money on this. Plus 150.
He's a better fighter.
He's a better fighter overall. Buckley has just got power, and it's hard to just match Buckley punch for punch. And when Buckley is on his game, it's not easy to beat the guy. That's why he's the favorite. 4-inch reach advantage. Buckley, in my opinion, he's got good distance control. He's really been improving that distance control. He's not getting sloppy anymore. He's mostly a kicker, but he does throw combos with a lot of hooks. He throws lots of different looping hooks. And he's got fast leg kicks, head kicks. I feel like as the fight goes on, though, he is a power striker. But sometimes he gets a little bit close, and with Murano manipulating distance, it could be a little bit of a tougher fight than what maybe the odds makers are thinking. I think he has a huge reach over fighters at 170. I just think that maybe if he used his jab a little bit more, he would have maybe a better success rate and start winning by decision rather than having to win by KO all the time. He's got a huge reach. He's a very talented athlete. I just think that right now the experience, the fact that Murano's 12-5 in the UFC and Buckley is 6-4 in the UFC, the fact that Murano's got the experience, he's been ranked higher than Buckley in the past, maybe not now. The fact that he's in and out and hard to read, it's going to be really, really tough for Buckley to time that. But like I said, Buckley with the head kick KO, totally possible. And so what I want to do is I want to bet Murano, and I want to see what Buckley is on Wednesday when the props come out. I want to see what Buckley by KO is, and I want to get some insurance. You know what I mean? Because Buckley by head kick knockout, and I saw Murano walking into head kicks sometimes. So I'm like, man, this could end in a head kick knockout easily by Buckley. I just think Murano with in and out movement, with the higher volume of strikes, is going to land, and the judges are going to maybe score it for him on some of the rounds. It's going to be a really good fight, but you're going to get that insurance for Buckley by KO as well. Small bet on that.
Joaquin Buckley for the win for me.
Yep, and I'm going Murano. It's going to be a fun fight, guys.
Like, subscribe, comment.
This is We've Been Drinking MMA. This is the co-main event of the UFC Fight Night, Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson. This is at middleweight, 185 pounds. It's Joe Pyfer versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan. And my pick, this is backhand, is Joe Pyfer.
This is lousy. I am going Joe Pyfer as well, probably by knockout.
KO. Pyfer by KO is the actual pick, man. He's minus 480, $480 to make 100, which is huge price. However, both these fighters have 100% finish rate, meaning when they win by finish, knockout or submission, and it's usually knockout with these guys. They throw with heavy power.
Yeah, this is a phone booth, stand and bang type throwing, and I 100%. Think Pyfer has more power. So
yeah,
this is flat out, there's more power and it's faster.
Faster, so. Exactly. Like, why are we talking?
Yeah, we done?
I'm betting. That's what I'm doing.
You use them as a parlay because the money on this is kind of crazy.
Yes, minus 480 to make 100. We're waiting for Tuesday or Wednesday when the props come out and we can get Joe Pyfer by KO. Hopefully it'll be like minus 150 or 150 to make 100, something like that. They both stand too close. They both are phone booth fighters. The only thing is that El Hassan is just slow. And like Lousy said, Joe Pyfer is fast. He backs away quick from punches, and he's just a power puncher with really good timing. And El Hassan, he's a power striker as well, but he again doesn't move out of the way, and he doesn't have any really head movement that I saw much. And he's got slow head movement, slow reactions. Joe Pyfer does have one loss in the UFC by KO, but it was a fluke KO in my opinion. He got body slammed on his head. He actually put his hand down, and his head still got hit.
Gray Maynard type style.
Gray Maynard from Frankie Edgar. Phenomenal. That was like 10, 15 years ago.
That was a long time ago, yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, exactly. He basically got, it was just ridiculous kind of thing, and it was like his early fight in the UFC. In fact, I think it was Contender Series. So it was like 5 fights ago. It was during Contender Series, and Dustin Stofholtz picked him up, and he tried to body slam him, and Pyfer put his hand down, but then it's still somehow the momentum still got Pyfer's head to like hit the ground, and his neck just kind of, it was actually kind of weird, and then Pyfer just got knocked out from that. It was really fluky, lucky. And anyways, Pyfer is fast with the punches and the really good timing and the power and the shot choices. He knows when to punch you with the timing. El Hassan is throwing with really good power, but he loads up on all of his punches, his kicks, his punches. He's loading up really slowly, so you can see it coming a mile away. And Joe Pyfer is good at reading punches. So overall, he's just a really good striker and good striking defense with backing away and with his head movement. So it should be a Joe Pyfer by KO. Is the pick, and can't wait for those odds to come out on Tuesday.
Yeah, like, subscribe, comment. This is We've Been Drinking MMA. We are on the main event, Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green. My prediction is Grant Dawson in a boring lay-and-pray fight.
Indeed. I don't think he ground and pounds too much, right? Decision makes a lot of sense. For me, this backhand, my pick is going to be Bobby Green. He's plus 300, man. $100 to make 300. He's a live dog in my eyes.
Just for the money, almost makes you want to bet it.
You have to, man. I mean, honestly, like, it might be smart. Like, we'll see when the odds come out on Tuesday and Wednesday for the props. Like, what's Grant Dawson by decision? What's the fight going the distance? What's Bob? And all that type of stuff. Bobby Green by KO or whatever. Just want to see all those odds, but. Overall, I just think, Grant Dawson is definitely getting better from fight to fight. I feel like, though, 2 fights ago he got knocked down. He did win it, and in convincing fashion. I think it was a submission over Mark Madsen in the 3rd round, but he got knocked down in the first, 2 minutes by a guy who was a nobody, and Grant Dawson is here in the main event. First time main eventing minus 380. I mean, come on, 380 to make 100 on this when he just got knocked down in the first round 2 fights ago. His last fight, he beat Damir Ismagulov, who's a nobody.
Well, he used to be a top tier fighter, Damir.
Now top tier, never ranked though.
He was ranked.
You're right. He was ranked. I'm sorry. So yeah, he was top 15. You're right.
But then he's starting. He got demolished by a fighter that's a top tier fighter.
Bad style matchup.
And then he retired.
Yeah.
And then he came back.
You're right.
I believe this is the fight where he came back.
That's fair.
Against Grant.
That's fair. Grant did control him which is hard because the guy's really good at getting off of the ground. So Grant Dawson just controlled him. Yeah. Actually, I kind of remember that fight. I remember picking that fight. We actually did the predictions for that fight, I think.
Yeah.
But I remember, we were like, oh, Grant Dawson's going to control him or whatever. But listen, Grant Dawson is improving from fight to fight. I just feel like, he's not like a clean double leg guy. He can do that. But like against Ricky Glenn, who that was like 4 fights ago, man, he was doing good in the first round, dominating in the first. Second even was doing good. He was up 2 rounds, and in the 3rd round, he just started getting very obvious, going for the little double leg takedowns.
That's all he can do.
Yeah,
he doesn't have strike.
And he kept doing over, and Glenn kept stuffing, meaning blocking the takedowns and getting away. And then Glenn got on top of him and almost submitted him. Honestly, if the fight kept going on, Dawson couldn't even get back up.
Like another minute in that
Dude,
fight.
Another freaking 15 seconds, and Dawson would have been unconscious. He was that close. So I feel like, essentially, in my opinion, he lost to Ricky Glenn, which is a huge stain. And if that went as a loss on his record versus Ricky Glenn instead of a draw, there's no way he has minus 380 versus Bobby Green this weekend.
It might be even.
It would be probably Dawson, maybe minus 200, maybe.
Yeah.
Just because the wrestling, and we know Green got dominated by Makhachev in wrestling like 4 fights ago. So
Bobby Green's a very entertaining fighter there, though.
No
doubt.
In my opinion, man, exactly. Like Bobby Green is good, is getting better at keeping the distance. He's not great at it. He has got his hands down. He's an exciting fighter. It's hard to put money on Bobby because he does play around in there a lot, and he's there to entertain. Fast combos, slick head movement, counters.
Crazy volume,
hands down. He's very entertaining. Not like Tony Ferguson. Obviously, he came back to fight Bobby Green, and Bobby Green was like minus 500 in the fight, minus 400, and big favorite. And it didn't mean that much. Obviously, at that point, beating somebody with that type of odds, especially Tony Ferguson coming off with that many losses in a row. Even though Tony Ferguson's a legend, it's still that many losses. And Bobby Green with the win, I get it. It doesn't mean as much as it should have been maybe 3 years ago or something. But Bobby Green did a good job, not getting taken down against the fence by Tony Ferguson. Like I said, I understand it doesn't mean that much. Tony Ferguson is not what he used to be. I get that. But I'm just saying his IQ with his shot choice is getting better. I think his distance is getting slightly better. I think the fact that he could, in the Makachev fight, going back to the Makachev fight where he got ground and pounded in the first round, taken down and ground and pounded, I feel like he did get taken down. He was trying to get back up. He was trying. Makachev just kind of mounted him on the back a little bit, but Green had like a minute 20 left in the round. Makachev hit the ground a lot, didn't hit Green very clean, and Herb Dean stepped in. I feel before I just thought that Makachev completely destroyed him, but then I watched that fight again yesterday or something, and I saw that, man, I think Herb Dean might have stopped that fight. Green popped right back up and started complaining to Herb Dean. I really actually look at it like, wow, I feel like Green is a lot better than what people think at takedown defense, or at least getting up off the ground from wrestlers. And so I feel like all that is making this into hyperinflated favorite for Dawson. The fact that he did a draw instead of getting submitted by Ricky Len 4 fights ago, that is why he's overinflated. He should have lost that fight probably if it went on, and he would have definitely lost in my opinion. Bobby Green got destroyed by Islam Makhachev, but in reality I thought it was an early stoppage. That's the reason why it's so overinflated. I think minus 200 for Grant Dawson would be a lot more realistic. And I just feel like Bobby Green plus 300, give me the dog. Give me the dog money.
Yeah, plus 300 for a person. He's facing a guy that's one-sided fighter. If he's able to stop that one-sidedness of the other fighter, it's going to be an easy fight.
If Green stuffs one takedown and lights Dawson up just once, just a little bit, the odds will become minus 150 for Dawson or something like that. I guarantee you. So my point is, even if it's a small bet that I'm going to do on Bobby Green, which is admittedly going to be a small bet, dude, if Bobby Green just stuffs couple takedowns, one takedown, and just hits him a few times, the odds are going to be completely different because everyone's going to be screaming for the hills, like, oh shit, why did we bet Dawson at minus 400? Yeah. So it's one of those things. I think you're thinking Dawson by decision.
Dawson by decision because his pressure and his wrestling.
For sure.
It's good. I think it's going to be a lay and pray type fight, and it's going to be boring.
I want to see like what the distance bet is, all that stuff on Wednesday. It's going to be very interesting to see that. But, again, just to sum it all up, my pick, this is backhand, is Bobby Green.
And mine is Grant Dawson.
Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you.
Like, subscribe, comment.